if you cannot wake up every day, look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of who you are, you got to do some work.
I know that's right.
It's not being on a show or getting some accolade. That shouldn't be the validity. Who are you? Like there should be a checklist. I have a checklist now when I think about my day, how I conducted myself through the day, just as a person. And so that I could look at myself in the mirror. And that's one. Two is that the most important thing, period, is family. My immediate family, my wife. I have a beautiful, lovely, wonderful partner, partner, friend.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My baby boy Denzel, I named him Denzel. Yes. It's a funny story why I named him Denzel, but they're keep that tight and right. Everything else falls into place, you know. And I've also learned the responsibility of leadership. That if you're going to be out here and you're going to do it, accept the responsibility. With great gifts comes great responsibility.
That's right.
And I have to take that seriously.
That's right.
And you know, that's what I think about every day. Every single day I'm thinking about that. Like, I cannot wait for, you know, Hollywood put me on a big boy timeout, and justifiably so. But I cannot wait.
You were okay with that?
I deserved it.
When they stopped calling,
I
they give you the roles.
I deserved it. It was, you know, there's been frustrating days where I'm like, I know what I'm built to do. I know what I can do, and you know, you got to eat, right? Got to eat. So, you know, there's few projects that I wouldn't have normally done. A few situations I put myself in, which I would not have normally been in had I not needed some financial scruples, right? And then in those situations, you know what's funny I've learned about people? People are funny, man, especially our people sometimes. When they know you're down, they'll dog you out, right? And then you're supposed to take it, but as soon as you flare up a little bit, oh, see, there it is. That's the, and that put me in a really vicarious position as a person, because I didn't want to be. I'm strong in who I am. I'm strong in what I believe. You know, just artistically, right? Like, if I'm like, okay, I'm a director. I'm a creative. So if I'm on a set and I've been on the highest level of this game production-wise, meaning I've worked with Spielberg and how he runs his set, and you know, Aaron Sorkin and Tommy Shalami, Shonda, like, I know what production at a high level looks like. And so when I see it not being that, I would say something, but I can't say nothing because I'm the this or I'm the that.
So let me ask you this. What was the harshest, most insensitive, uncaring thing that someone said to you when you were in your night season?
You're a crackhead and you're a wife beater.
Wow.
Which are two things that I am completely not. And you know, when it first dropped, when those things were dropping, initially I'm like, man, I grew up believing in the mystique in this business, that if you guys knew too much about me, you wouldn't receive my work, right? Like, you wouldn't know. You know me too much, so you're not going to buy me in a character. You're not going to believe me as Little Walter if you know me, which is not true. But I was so private, and then once my personal life, it's a complete misnomer of my personal life was representing me and overclouded me, and that felt crappy because I didn't even want to fight back. I didn't even want to say nothing. I was just like, I didn't want to say, no, that's not this and that, because I didn't want to drag another person. Because what is that going to do? Then it's going to be another thing. So I just let it happen. And you know what? Here I am, can take a deep breath on the other side of it. But I did get drugged. I got beat down.
What role did, that deserves some. Yeah, because I think that, let me say this to you. I don't know anybody who's ever accomplished anything and didn't have to shed tears to do it.
Right.
There is no greatness without the shedding of tears.
And a lot of people make mistakes. All of us, every single person in this room, we are all fallible as human beings. But most of y'all don't got cameras in front of your face while you go through it, while you figure it out.
Right.
You know, that is an interesting place to be, to publicly grow and publicly fail and publicly be corrected as you're trying to fix yourself. You know, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, and I think that started to feed into what I already had, anxiety, which then my anxiety, the only thing I knew to that was helping me deal with anxiety was drinking alcohol to excess. And then, you know, there was a small period where it was like, because I hated to be drunk, you know, then I would, you know, do something else to kind of equal it out, and I was becoming my own pharmacist, which was a complete asinine way to live your life, right? And as you're trying to dig yourself out, you're sinking in quicksand.
So what saved you? What stopped the fall?
God.
How?
I think it was a moment where I knew it was in this moment where I'm frustrated, and this was like not too long ago, maybe 2 years ago, when I was in jail. I thought I was going to be in jail for a year. And I was like, this was it. Like, this is it. And I prayed. I got on my knees in that jail cell, and I was like, if you can turn this around, if you can turn this around, I promise you that I will dedicate the rest of my life to being the best version of myself that I can possibly be, day in and day out. And I was supposed to be in there for a year, and I prayed that prayer every day. Every single day I prayed that prayer. And I'm supposed to be in there for a year. And so one day, I literally prayed that prayer in the morning, and the jailer came, and I went from a time in that time for the first 3 weeks where I was like, oh, maybe I can get out. Maybe I can get out. Then I had to just sit in it, like, I'm gonna be here. And as soon as I did that, my most exciting day of the week was Monday, because I get to get on my commissary. You know what I'm saying? I had a little small piece of change on my books, you know what I mean? So I was ready for my stuff. And the jailer came over to my thing. He said, what would you give up for your commissary? I'm like, absolutely nothing. And he was like, what if I told you were getting out today? And I was like, huh? And everybody on my row was like, sure, you getting out of here. And that is nothing but God, because I was supposed to be sitting there. And as soon as I got out of there, from the time I stepped my feet on free ground, I haven't stopped moving in the right direction.
What? Yeah, no, that's I'm coming to you, but I got to follow up and ask you this. And when you got out, what did freedom feel like?
It felt like a second chance.
To do what?
What I was supposed to be doing this whole time.
Which is what?
Going to be great. Like, I want to produce and I want to create some of the best art that it's on cinema and film and television. But I also, not only that, there's so many gatekeepers in this business that shouldn't be gatekeepers.
We're gonna get to that.
But they block. I want to create opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, like people talking about job opportunity. There's so many talented people that deserve jobs. Cameramen and crew and ADs and PAs and, you know, talented actresses that are never getting a shot, talented actors that are never getting a shot. I want to be on the front line of putting those people on because somebody put me on.
No, that's rich. We're going to talk about what you're doing next and what's coming up next. Your book. I know you're writing a book. We're going to talk about that. But I want you to introduce yourself and tell us what you want us to know.
Hi, my name is Jamil. You were talking about the coping methods that you had before when you were dealing with your hardships. What are your coping methods now that you've understand that you went through a bad route at first? So now what is
So
your
there's
plan?
a lot of things that I've done to change. That's a great question. I think, you know, you talk to any of the more successful, watch who you're around, by the way. You're going to kind of be who you're around. If you're around successful people, ask them how they became successful, what are they practice in their daily lives. So some of the things that I do, I stretch every night. I pray. And you pray to whatever God you want to pray to, or meditate or whatever. But I also stretch and breathe, because there's so many anxieties that we go and take into our before we get into bed, and those restless nights. I used to quiet those voices, but I need a shot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I need a beer. You know what I mean? Now I quiet those voices by breathing and my stretching, and then if you wake up and you start feeling that anxiety, I'm in the gym a lot now. You know what I mean? Or I go on box, or I go to the golf course, and walking the course is something very therapeutic about that. So there's a lot of things that I replaced all those negative, bad habits with things that are not toxic.
And beneficial.
Yeah, and it's changed. And it takes 21 days to make a habit. You do those things consistently, it'll start changing your life. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning every morning, Monday through 7 days a week. And it's just a thing. It's quiet at that time, and it's a time to get yourself right before the day starts. So just little tiny tweaks, little tiny tricks of the trade that get your mind right and ready to go.
No, that's good. Thank you so much.
Thank
We appreciate
you.
that. Thank you for asking that. That was a good question.
Yeah, I was.
Because it allows me to turn us toward, what are you working on now?
Well, so
As I choke.
That's funny. So I've always been a writer. I've been writing for years. Screenplays, and I've worked with some of the best writers, as the aforementioned writers, Aaron Sorkin, Shonda, and all them, and I've always, learned from them. So I've been writing. In that time that I've been not in front of the camera, I've been creating, while instead of waiting for a second chance. When that chance came, I wanted to have the work ready for them to just green light.
So you talking about script, book,
Scripts. Well, the book, I'm finished. I'm turning in my last edit this weekend, coming up short. A lot of this stuff, thank you. A lot of the stuff that we kind of discussed, but more in depth of how I was raised, and it's not a tell-all book. It's me. It's not my position to come talk about somebody else. But I can tell you what I've been through, and hopefully it's a testimony, right? So that's that. But I also, I was looking at, how much dance has blown up since, we did Stomp. Dancers are famous now, and I was like, it's time. I went to Africa, and I had this amazing epiphany while I was in Africa. I was like, we need to do Stomp. We need to do a new Stomp. And so I wrote the script and Stomp the World. And so I've been developing that for the last 2.5 years. And we're close to, hopefully that's gonna be moving forward in 2020. There's another project that I wrote, a series that I wrote. I'm working with some major idols of mine right now that I can't really talk about, so I'm not, but I'm just saying that my dream project's right here. That I created, that I wrote, created. I'm gonna be producing it and starring in. But there's something coming on the horizon that's like, this comes together.
So
it's gonna be
let me say, when you can talk about it, will you come back?
Oh yeah. You're gonna make me come back. We're gonna have to talk about it. I'll bring some friends with me.
Oh, please do. So I got about probably 2 minutes.
Okay.
And I just want to do a quick round robin with you, all right?
Let's do it.
Trust me, I got you, okay? What's your biggest fear?
Failure.
Who loved you the most?
The Lord.
When was the last time you danced?
Yesterday with my son. He dances every day.
What is the biggest lie ever told about you?
That I'm a crackhead.
What always brings you joy?
Music.
When was the last time you cried?
2 days ago on a dumb commercial, man.
When you think about home, what does it feel like?
Stage.
When you think about the future, what does it feel like?
Great.
Last two, you ready?
Yeah.
Of all the things you wish you could change about yourself, what's the main one?
Nothing.
If you got everything you never had, what would you still want?
Peace.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Man, thank you.
My brother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No, you have, you gotta come back.
I will.
We'll come get you.
Come get me.
Nah, please welcome and thank him for being here tonight.
Thank you, guys.